Hey everyone, welcome to episode 28 of the Tea in Tokyo podcast. My name is Somya.
And I'm Ellie.
And what did we get up to this week?
So this week was Obon festival in Japan. We got our stimulus check from the government and we went to the beach.
Yeah, that's right. You can hear all about that coming up now. Alright, well, last week in Japan it was Obon week, which is a Buddhist holiday where they basically remember their ancestors, remember the dead. People do two things that I've heard about. They either go to like their ancestors' graves and they clean it up, they make it look all nice, add flowers and stuff like that. And they also go back to their hometowns and, you know, basically visit their parents. It's a whole week thing. Although this year, because of coronavirus, everything else has changed, so this is no different. The government recommended that nobody kind of travel around Japan, right?
But it's still like a summer holiday, basically. So everyone still had the week off work. But
Yeah, although that the week off work isn't compulsory. It's not an actual public holiday. Instead, they have to take leave from work.
Really?
Yeah, I think some companies will just give them leave if they're nice, but otherwise they actually have to take leave.
I think almost every single one of my students had leave from their work, except for one who's like the equivalent of an essential worker.
Yeah, so even though they couldn't visit home, people still, took leave anyway.
Yeah.
And just relaxed and stuff, did other stuff.
Yeah.
I know one person whose, sister was at their hometown, and then she, live streamed, I think it was, their grandparents or maybe even their parents' grave to him. So, yeah, people are doing that.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of, similar, but maybe less extravagant than, what is it called? The Day of the Dead in Mexico?
Yeah, when everyone, dresses up and stuff.
Yeah,
isn't that what Halloween's all about? Is that where Halloween started? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I think Halloween is, the white people version.
Or at least the Day of the Dead happens on the same day as Halloween.
Does it?
I don't know. We need to watch Coco and find out.
I really love Coco.
And when was it set? Did it seem October-y?
I don't remember, babe. It was just sad, cried and stuff.
Damn, I still haven't seen Coco, so don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, I made the mistake of watching it right after my aunt died, so, it was extra sad for me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Obon is, honouring your ancestors, remembering them. You, you put food out for them, you light incense for them, you do a wet prayer, because I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but we were trying to figure out, if the Shinto religion has, a concept of hell.
Yeah.
And apparently they don't really. It's more just, that you die, and then there's just one giant afterlife. It's not good or bad. And honouring and remembering your ancestors is kind of what keeps...
But this isn't Shinto anyway, though, right? It's Buddhist.
Yeah, but, that's what it's what, Shinto people in Japan do that. Celebrate Obon, right?
I don't know. They must, I guess.
I think it's
How many people in Japan are Buddhist?
I don't know. I think it's more of a... Oh, I can look it up. But I think it's more of a cultural thing than a religious thing. It's become that way. So what am I going to do?
Wait, hold on. Let me just see it. Okay, so, yeah, I think it might be a cultural thing, actually, because Buddhist people in other countries don't celebrate this, although they have similar ones, apparently, in, India and Korea. 84 to 96% of the Japanese population subscribe to Shinto.
Yeah.
But 50 to 80% considering degrees of Buddhism. So I don't know. Apparently everyone's kind of a mix of both. They're whatever. And
we've already said before, I think it's for most, not every person in Japan, but a lot of Japanese people who we've spoken to, it's being, saying that they are Shinto is a cultural thing more than anything.
Yeah.
They don't truly believe that every mountain is a god and even trees and rivers are gods. Some of them I'm sure do, but everyone we've personally spoken with is sort of it's more of a respect for nature and sort of respecting the rules of the religion.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. Damn it, I read about this in that book Sapiens when I was reading it. It was talking about religion, but I've completely forgotten what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But it's the same with Hinduism where they don't actually think that they're gods, but they can still worship it as if it is like God just takes like different shapes or something. Whatever. I can't remember exactly.
But like regardless, Obon seems to be more of like a summer festival combined with a time like you just spend time with your family.
They also have actual events around Obon, which obviously they didn't have this year, so we missed out on it. But hopefully, next year things are back to normal. We can see it because they normally have Bon Odori, which is like a dance that they do. For us, we didn't get to experience anything Obon, but it did benefit us a little bit because since everyone was on holiday, we got a lot more students at work.
Yeah, everyone was on holiday, but because their government has kind of recommended no travel outside of Tokyo, they were all stuck in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So it was like super busy, at least for us. I know I was speaking to some of my work colleagues and they didn't find it that much busier, but for some reason for both me and Sonia it was like back to normal kind of thing. Like we're gonna have all of this month's income pretty much is gonna be from that 1 week because it was so busy.
Yeah, although I realized that my weeks have been so bad at work that I thought last week was like back to normal, but now when I'm actually looking at my schedule I'm thinking, man, last week sucked. I had one day, right, which was like a normal day. I had eight or 9 classes, which, on a normal day you'd probably have 8 or 9. But on my other days, I had 2, 2, 5, which is pretty good, 2, 6, which is good, and then 0. So I had 2 2s and a 0.
Yeah, but...
No, sorry, 3 2s and a 0,
But overall, I feel like it evens out to being better than it has been.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I had like 6, 7, 1, 2, like 8, and then 5. Which is a lot better than it's been for me.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. I've had, last week accounted for almost, a third of my classes this month, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and my boss was saying, at least for my studio, she was, comparing... Because you can do, you can look at the total studio, every teacher and how many bookings they have for each day.
Yeah.
So she went and compared, a couple of the days from Obon Festival Week to... the same time last year, and the bookings weren't exactly the same, but they were definitely pretty close to being back up to where it is normally.
Yeah, but only for those days though, right?
Yeah, only for the days in Obon.
I had a training earlier this week, and the guy that was taking the training told us, the kids' lessons have basically been the same as they were this year to last year.
The kids?
Yeah. I didn't really believe that because so many people have talked about how they can't get any kids' lessons and their certificate is being taken off them because they can't get to them.
Although maybe that's the smaller studios where they've got less kids or something.
Yeah, maybe. I
mean, I don't know. I'm trying to, we try so hard to stay positive. I think it's important to try to stay positive.
Yeah, screw it. You don't have to stay positive at all. You can just be angry at the world.
No, you gotta look on the good side of things. And the good side is... Last week was a good week for work. It was weird. I feel like I'm so used to having no work. I was extra tired.
Well, how's this for positive? Last month, my booking rate was 12.7%. This month, it is 13.99.
Oh, that's nice and positive.
Yeah, so I've gone up 1%. Which, I've gone up 1% point, but in terms of, how crap it's been, that actually means that was a 10% increase in bookings.
Well, my booking rate's lower this month, technically. But I've already got more classes. So last month, I put myself available for Berlini. So my booking...
Yeah, you always said that your bookings were crap as well, but then the other day I went and looked at your percentages, and man, your percentages are so good. It annoyed me. It's we're having 2 different conversations when we talk about how crap classes are.
Yeah, but I put myself available for less classes, so my percentages aren't accurate. So last month, I had a 42% booking rate, and this month it's down to 37, but I've already got 20 more bookings than last month. So booking percentage doesn't mean anything.
Percentage is what matters though, right? The percentage of booking. Or unless you're doing what I'm doing, in which case, I have so many classes that... Yeah, that they're not ever going to book.
This month I've got 70 more classes open than I did last month. So, of course I'm going to have a lower percentage because, I'm not going to get that many more bookings from that.
Man, in terms of staying positive, the thing that makes me not positive is looking at my diary. Because... at the beginning of the year, I wrote down every festival, big events. I wrote it down in that diary so that, we'd know about it and then we can plan it in advance and, book it and stuff like that. Today, technically, we should be at Fuji Rock Festival.
Yeah.
And then, there's all these other festivals that are around and it's after next to all of them, I'm just writing, coronavirus cancelled, or actually I was doing that at the beginning, and now there's no point. Like,
Oh, well,
yeah.
you know, to quote the Kardashians, people are dying, Kim. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
We can't complain too much when we can still afford to, like, you know, like, we can afford to, like, eat and pay rent and bills and occasionally, like, do fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people, like, in America, like, no one has jobs, as far as I can tell from the media.
Yeah.
It's 100% unemployment rate right now.
So, one thing last week, we had news that a friend of ours is getting married next year in February.
Congratulations, Abby, if you still listen. I don't know if you do.
So, we're thinking about we're probably going to be going back to New Zealand in February, not to live, but just to go for a couple of weeks. But it's a little bit difficult because at the moment, first of all, there's just no flights going to New Zealand. So even if we wanted to, like, go right, like, you know, soon, we couldn't go.
Well, like,
hopefully...
there are flights, but often they have multiple stopovers, and the common, like, trend is people get those flights, and then one of the stopover flights will end up cancelling, and then they're just stuck in another country.
Actually, I thought right now they've cancelled it completely. Maybe not, actually, because I guess people are still going back.
I think there are still some.
Yeah. The other issue is... Oh, yeah, that's right. Once you go overseas, you can't actually come back into Japan right now.
That's the main issue, on our current visas, if we leave, we can't get back. Because there's all, like, you know, we have to pay for quarantine in New Zealand. You then have to quarantine for 2 weeks, so we have to stay for, like, at least a month so we actually can be there for the wedding and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, because I'm she wants me to be one of the bridesmaids, which I want to be, that means I've got to be there, like, for more stuff. You know, like, it's not just attending on the day. And so now we're going to have to do some hard out accounting and try to figure out this money. Because, so, the quarantine, it's $3,100 for one person, and then it's $900 for the second. So it's about $4,000 for that. And then with flights, it's probably going to be, like, around $2,000 each or $1,500 each for, like, return flights. And then, you know, we want spending money, blah, 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 there. So, like, in total... And we've still got to pay rent for the month.
We're still going to pay rent and bills. So, like, in total, we're thinking we'll probably need about $10,000. Like, how, you know... Is that even possible? I don't know.
Yeah, like, really... Like, it's one of those things where, like, I was super, like... I'm not going to, like, use the word depressed because I'm aware that that's, like, an actual thing. But, like, my mood was very melancholy all of last week. And I got pretty excited again at the prospect of returning to New Zealand. I think I'm just a little bit homesick.
Yeah.
And... I don't know, like, the timing could work out perfectly because, like, someone else we know, I'm not good at name names, is expecting a baby at the same time as my friend's wedding. Congratulations, you know who you are. And so it would be so good, like, it would be so perfect if we could go back then, because I could be there for the wedding. She wants me to do the makeup as well, so, like, if I'm not there for the wedding, she also has to find a makeup artist who will pay, like, you know, she has to pay for that, and I'd also be there for the birth and getting to meet the baby. Like, it would just be so good. But I'm not stupid, like, you know, we're both not stupid. We know that, like, it may not be possible, but...
Yeah, so, because it's like $10,000, and then you also have to take into account the fact that we're not going to be earning any money while we're there, so it's like, you have to take, there's that as well. But yeah, we're definitely hopeful, you know. It's a while away, it's 6 months, so we have quite a while to plan.
Yeah, I mean, by then there might be different quarantine rules, like maybe we won't have to pay the $3,000 for quarantine. Yeah,
I'm hoping for that vaccine. Although, my student the other day was an infectious disease expert. He's a physician. By the way, he said that he actually has quite a few severe COVID-19 patients at his hospital, and he only deals with COVID-19 patients right now.
Oh, wow.
Because I was like, oh, you know, the case is going up, but at least, you know, there's not really anyone in hospital, right? And he was like, no, what are you talking about? I have a lot of severe patients. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. I did not know that. And I was like, so do you think the Olympics will happen next year? And he was like, they definitely should not happen next year. And okay. And then I was like, well, you know, let's hope that there's a vaccine, right? And then he basically said, listen, like, he's really he's not hopeful at all that there's going to be a vaccine. I don't
know, there might be one. It might just be that it will be, like, early stage trials. But you know what? Honestly, if it was one of those things where we had to pay extra to take the vaccine, and then that meant that we didn't have to spend the time in the quarantine, that could be totally worth it, because then we'd be going for less time, so we wouldn't have to worry about losing that much income. Yeah, but
the other thing he said, though, is the virus that causes coronavirus, it's very similar to, like, the common cold virus. And obviously there's no vaccine to common cold because it mutates so quickly that you just can't do it. And he said there's similar issues with COVID-19, so, like, even if they did come up with a vaccine, you know, it might not even work with all the different strains
Hey.
that may happen.
Take this negativity and scratch it up in a little ball.
That's not negative. That's not negative. It's science.
I know,
You know?
but we try. You know, we got to be positive. We got to be hopeful.
Yeah.
But yeah, on a positive note, the good thing is, like, I messaged my friend after she asked me to be a bridesmaid to be like, because Sonia pointed out that with the visa restrictions, we can't go because we can't get back. So I messaged her to say that, to be like, look, I'm so keen, but I fully understand if you have to ask someone else because you need to know sooner rather than later. And luckily, she said, unless like it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm not coming, she can find someone else to step in last minute if that happens. So, you know, that was nice because I'm so, like, I really want to go and I really want to be a bridesmaid.
But,
and
you know,
I want to meet the baby, like, all these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, there's so much. And then it'll just be good to, like, see everyone as well. Like,
Yeah.
So. And, you know, the other thing we were saying, like, the number one issue that we were saying, how, like, if you leave Japan, you can't get back into Japan. Man, that's so weird. So, on the Japanese immigration website or whatever, they've got, like, the list of all the countries that they're not allowing into Japan at the moment. There's so many countries on that list. And, you know, I was just kind of thinking of random countries. I was like, okay, New Zealand, Australia, you know, whatever. And they're all on that list. I don't know if there is even a country that's not on that list. You know? I feel like they just listed every country and they put it on there.
And the list doesn't even make sense because, like, at least until prior to New Zealand getting cases again, when we were looking at this list back then, New Zealand had no cases for 100 days. So why would that country not be able to come back in?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the travel itself is dangerous. But on a positive note, one of my work colleagues who has been stuck in Sweden since before this happened, because she'd gone back for a family trip right before everything went down, and she hasn't been able to get back in. Apparently, the word is they're expecting, or she's like told people that she's hopeful and expecting that she should be able to come back within a month. So they might be making exceptions. Okay. Although I don't know if that will apply to people in our situation who leave post-COVID and want to come back. Because, you know, she's kind of like not a special case because everyone's in the same situation, but she did leave before there were restrictions, so it kind of sucks that she's now been stuck without work, having to pay rent on an apartment for, like, the past few months.
Oh, yeah, so the COVID thing in New Zealand, right? Last week in the podcast, we literally were celebrating 100 days.
Oh, were we?
COVID. But the problem is it took me so long to edit that podcast that, like, in the time that I was editing it, we got more cases.
Yeah.
And I was like listening to the podcast, I was like, God damn, this podcast makes no sense anymore. But
so for anyone who doesn't know, who's not up to date, New Zealand had 4 members of the family tested positive for it, and from that, there's been a whole lot of cases. Yeah, it kind of sucks. So New Zealand had 100 days, and literally like a day later, now there's just like a bajillion cases.
Yeah, and it had to be right after our podcast where we just like, God damn it. Oh, you know, you want positive. Here's something positive. We got our government's relief check
finally
recently, like this week. So that's 100,000 yen each, so 200,000 yen, which is a really good amount of money.
It's basically like 3,000
Yeah, it's
NZ.
almost like 3,000 New Zealand dollars, which is really good. That actually has lifted any money stress that I had, because like prior to that, Ellie's bank account was completely empty. My one, it was like...
You make it sound like I emptied mine out. We take mine and we put half of it into savings every month.
Yeah, that's not what I meant.
Don't be a dick, alright?
It sounded that way, I admit. But no, okay. Yeah, okay. So we put her money in my account anyway, because
so it wasn't that I emptied the account out with crazy spending. It was that we purposefully empty it out so that I don't do crazy spending.
Yeah. Okay, so we had like... Ellie's is the spending account. Because she spends money. No,
because we use mine for groceries and everything
so,
like that.
So we had spent that money. And then, you know, we had enough for, like, rent next month and stuff. But now, we're all good. And
we have a bit of a savings again.
I love that, like, you know, it's so good that they're giving money to people who aren't just citizens, you know, because they recognise that, you know, we need that money too.
Well, if you're, like, working and paying taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know. And, like, they don't want... Like, I suppose it does make sense because... Like, what happens if we didn't get that and then because of our, like, lost income, we became homeless? They don't want more homeless foreigners on the street.
Yeah. More, like, is there any?
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah. There's a couple of other, like, stimulus things that we could use that... Well, actually, we don't actually know we could use it. We have to, like, really go in and
But
check
we went to another training thing for work, because we're just spending all of our time doing training while it's so quiet.
Yeah.
And there was another couple there who, they said that it was really easy. They qualified for the rent subsidy. And we would too.
Yeah.
But they said they just went into their like local ward office, and I looked it up online, and at least for our area, it says you have to do it over the phone, and they only have Japanese speakers.
No, that's for something different.
Is it?
Yeah, they're talking about something different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
get the right one.
Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 different things that you can look into.
I should find out which one, because one of the guys from that couple, he sometimes works at my work, and I've never actually spoken to him before the training because he's not from my actual studio. But I've seen him around a few times since then, now that I recognise him. So I should actually properly, like, ask which one they got.
Yeah. When we're at these training things, like, you have to spend a whole day with 3 or 4 other people. It's a pretty small group. So we're thinking, man, we need to, like, make friends with these people, you know? Because some of them are kind of pretty cool. And there was that couple
who
there.
they arrived even later than we did. So we were like, oh yeah, surely they have no friends yet, so they need us.
Yeah. They were perfect to be friends with. And then... we waited too long. And right at the end, when it was like time to go, one of them had work. He left like straight away. He bolted out of there.
Yeah, because he was running late for work.
Yeah, we can't ask him for his line. And then line, by the way, is not slang for phone
It's
number.
like it's like a messaging app. That's popular.
Man, that sounds like slang for phone number though.
Yeah, it does. Maybe that's where it came from.
Yeah. And then the girl, she left as well. We were too nervous. Ellie, it was up to Ellie because she was sitting next to the girl.
Yeah,
and
I know.
panicked.
And I was partnered with her the whole time, and she was really cool. But yeah, the problem was because at the end you do have to do a survey, and she finished hers like really quickly and was like, "Okay, see ya," and left. And I was like, "Damn it!"
Yeah.
But maybe they don't want friends. We had another training as well where we were talking to a guy the whole time, and Sonia did add him online.
You weren't even there.
I was there for that one.
Were you?
Yes.
No, I that's not the... Oh my god, you're totally right. Yeah, holy shit. I completely forgot you were there.
Sonia, I was
Yeah.
sitting between you and him.
Oh, yeah.
I was right in the middle.
Man, my memory was that I did that all by myself and I was going to be like, meanwhile, I can make
No,
friends.
you didn't do it all by
yeah,
yourself.
Yeah, right.
I pushed you to do it.
Yeah, and then I asked that guy if he wanted to hang out and he said, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I'm doing chores. And I was like, well, that's it. I
Yeah.
tried my best. I'm never going to talk to this guy
But maybe
again.
we'll see him in another training, and then this time what we're going to do is we're going to be like, hey, do you want to do something right now?
Nah, you only have one chance with me. I can't put that much effort in. It's too hard to put that much effort.
Yeah. It's so stressful making friends as an adult. Because, like, we've kind of made some, like, work colleagues. Like, at my work, there's, like, a couple of people who started around the same time as me, and we're all, like, kind of work friends, because there's already established groups with people. And I talk to all of them, but, like, I'm definitely closer friends with the newer ones. And then we've got our other friends, and, like, a friend from New Zealand and stuff. But it's just hard to make, like...
Yeah, I was
friends.
doing okay with the friends at my work. But now, like, because I just don't go to work that often, because I don't have that many classes. Because before you'd have classes and then during break time you'd be in the lunchroom and then, blah, blah, blah. But now it's just one class. Now I literally go there, I have a class, and then I don't have any more classes, so I leave. And it's
Yeah.
like you don't ever see anybody. And to be honest, I feel like they might have done this on purpose. Because I, like,
They
stopped
did
talking to
not.
people that much, they've put me in this, like, because you're in a booth, but they have moved me to another booth that's, like, in the corner, next to, like, a steel beam that holds the roof up. That's literally the only thing there, and then there's nobody else. So now, even if I wanted to talk to people, I can't.
No, but do you know what? That indicates, because the booths that are further away from your manager are the ones that they put people who they don't think that they need to worry about. So, you know what? If you're further away from people, it means that they trust that you're a good teacher.
Yeah, we do have quite a few, like, new people, so I know they're there now.
Yeah.
But still, it's such an awkward place. I'm like, god damn it.
Why don't you ask? Ask your manager to move to a different booth. They don't mind. Like, not on that
Yeah,
day
I
you
guess
won't be
so.
able to, but you could be like, in the future, could I be in a booth near the windows or something?
Yeah. A couple of times I went to drinks with people after work, right? Mm-mm. But now, the guy that I went to drinks with, he's decided that he's sober now.
Oh, really?
And it's like, I guess we'd have to go to a cafe now, you know?
But also, it's a difficult time in general because lots of people don't want to socialise outside of work because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
One of the guys who I catch the train with sometimes, he's like, outside of work, I'm pretty sure he's like fully self-isolating because he lives with his like wife who is Japanese and her family who are like elderly people.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are more cautious about socialising.
Yeah, although, we say, like, we want to make more friends and stuff. The amount of effort that I've put into making new friends is at the 4 to 5% mark.
Yeah.
Because we have two or three friends, and that's all I need. Like,
I really want Sonia to put more effort into making male friends,
Yeah,
That's
to be
the
fair,
problem.
the 3 are girls, yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine, but I also feel like, I don't know, in New Zealand, most of your friends were guys. So, I don't know, maybe for in my mind, for like a comfort thing so that you don't feel like it's too different from New Zealand, you need to have that same sort of dynamic.
I don't know, I'd be curious to know what other people think about this. Ellie seems to think this is a big deal. I could not give a shit
I don't
at
think
all.
it's a big deal, but I think in my mind, you know, like you have like certain social dynamics that you're used to. So I think if you want to be like happy and comfortable in a different country, which is a completely different culture, you want to like maintain some similar things. Like how I still have like milk in my tea and toast for breakfast.
Yeah, but
right?
I don't have that with friends at all. Like I
think you do, and you just don't know it. You know.
I think I'm just as comfortable talking about anything with the friends that we have.
Yeah.
Whether they're girls or guys.
And I mean, and you do game online with your like guy friends.
Yeah, exactly. If I need to talk about things with guys, I'll talk to my friends in New Zealand.
I don't know, but also like I think the other part of it is for me and Sonia have always had separate friend groups. We're both friends with each other's friend groups, but you know how sometimes you hear couples talking about how, like, what happens if we broke up? Who would be friends with who? That would never be a problem with us, because in New Zealand we had, like, clearly, like, this group is my group, this group is your group. We can still interact freely with both of them without the other one there, but, like, it's pretty clear who has who. Whereas in Japan, we're, like, merged too much, and I'm worried about being too codependent. Like, I like having independent, like,
well, if this is
lifestyles.
Okay, so I think the solution here seems to be you need to find more new friends.
Yeah, but I found the friends. They're mine.
Yeah, but you have this, like, you have so many issues. It's like, you know what? You solve these issues yourself.
No, it's not an issue. It's literally just that I've reflected inside of myself more than you have, so I'm more aware of my own wants.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about being a guy. We don't reflect, so it's all good. Like, we're happy just walking around.
I am pretty happy, but you know, I think it was honestly because last week my mood was like really low. It was we had the funeral for my aunt, and I think that sort of like triggered like sad emotions, and then they kind of just like remained for a week. Like, it got to the point where like I was like pretty like, I wasn't like sad, but I'd feel like my mood was like very neutral. Like, it wasn't sad or happy.
Yeah.
And at work, I had like 3 of my like work friends being like, "Hey, have you been okay this week?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm all good." And then like another one was like, "Ellie, you seem kind of down." And I was like, "I'm fine." And then another one was like, "Ellie, who's hurt you? I'm going to come find him and beat him up." And I was like, It was me. It's my own like self that has hurt me. It's just my own emotions.
Yeah, I mean, you were even saying that you kind of wanted to move back to New Zealand.
I didn't say I wanted to move. I was just feeling very like, how long are we going to stay here? I was just melancholy, honestly. That's the word for it.
Yeah.
And like, so in that sort of like, I don't know, sad, not even sad, just like nothing emotions, I was doing a lot of thinking, you know?
Oh no, the dangerous thinking.
Yeah. I can't let this woman think.
Yeah, I thought we had repressed that. God damn it. Okay, well, so that's basically, you know, we haven't talked about anything that we've actually done this week, because we've done... Oh, actually, we have done something. We went to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what we did outside of work.
This is actually the beach episode.
Yeah.
Even though we haven't spoken about the beach yet, but this is the beach episode. So we went to the beach. What the hell was that beach called? Oh, Zushi.
Mm-hmm. Like
Zushi
sushi,
beach.
but with a Z.
It's pretty popular. It's about an hour and a bit away from our place.
In the Kanagawa prefecture.
Yeah. We went later in the day because I had work earlier. And to be honest, I wish we had gone a little bit earlier, just because the sun was like behind clouds. It was like we wanted to go when it wasn't too hot, but it kind of wasn't hot enough, I feel like.
For me it was a good temperature.
Yeah.
So that day itself wasn't as hot as it has been. That day was like 33, 34 degrees.
Yeah.
And then by the time we went, it was like 31 degrees.
Yeah.
Which in New Zealand would be like oh my god, it's so hot, get me into the water right now.
But to be fair, it wasn't really about the heat, it was about the sun. There was like, the sun was behind clouds, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I get, but I liked it. I thought it was good. So we went to this beach, and it's like a, kind of like in a bay, so that by that I mean, it's like a crescent shape, which is good because it means it means the wind doesn't, like cause like massive waves, at least when we were there. So it was very, very calm.
It was so good to be in the water during the heat. And when we first walked in, it kind of felt like really cold. Like I was expecting like tropical waters where it was like almost the same temperature.
The seawater is always colder than you expect it to be.
Yeah. But then once I dunked my head in, it was all good.
Yeah. So we stayed we just basically like us and 2 friends, we just stayed in the water. Like we weren't like swimming or like doing anything crazy, but we were just like chatting, but like while in the water. So you're like a good temperature.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't been maybe this is because I haven't been to a beach in a long time. But the amount of like Instagrammers there that were on the beach,
Like, you know the stereotypical one where, like, the girl is, like, kneeling right where the water is, like, hitting the beach.
Yeah.
And she's, like, got her arms up over her head, and she looks all, like, she's, like, they look good. Like, they looked really cute. But
yeah, there was a group of, like, 3 girls doing that, and then, like,
there was
a
other
couple on the
girls,
beach.
like, yeah.
There were more. I was like, man, like, is this what they're doing at every beach, or is this, like, special? Like, have I just not been to a beach in a long time?
Yeah,
where
true.
Everyone's making, like, Instagram posts and like, TikToks and stuff on the beach.
I feel like when we did go to the beach in New Zealand, it was, like, what was the name of that place starting with W?
Waikuku.
Like, Waikuku. So it was,
Yeah.
like, when we went, it was always, like, quieter, and there was no one else there. So
Yeah.
who knows if it's normal for people to do this.
Man, watching those people made me, like, their personality is so different from ours. The amount of confidence that they have.
As they
it's
were
crazy.
posing, they were all, like, yelling at each other, like, yes, girl, you got it!
Yeah.
Go, girlfriend! And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, these girls are so, like, I was, like, impressed and
Yeah.
also judging. You know, it was a weird mix of, like...
Like, if we're taking a photo like that, we'd do it, like, really quickly. Like, first of all, you wouldn't even take a photo like
not
that.
with that many people
Yeah.
around.
You know, it'd be, like, a quick photo, and then that's it. Whereas, like, they were going hard for, like, hours. You know?
Yeah. And they were, like,
Yeah.
playing music from their speakers. We felt really awkward because, like, we were kind of... It was, like, the timing was bad because one of the girls we were with, I'd seen that day, she had commented on a post on Facebook complaining about how she hates people who play loud music in public.
Yeah.
And then these people right next to us were doing that. And so I was like, oh, man, you must be pissed off right now. And so we were, like, talking about, like, not super loudly, and they weren't right next to us. But we were talking about how, like, man, I could never be someone who would just, like, play music full blast from my speaker when it's, like,
On a crowded beach, yeah.
especially because I feel like, in general, the rest of the atmosphere there was, like, people relaxing.
Oh, yeah, and there were actual signs saying, do not play music through your speakers.
Like, it
So-
was, like, a peaceful place.
Yeah.
And so we were, like, being, like, kind of, like, having a bitch about how, like, that's so obnoxious. And then later on, one of them came up to us and was being, like, overly friendly. And Somi doesn't think so, but I'm, like, suspicious of the fact that she was, like, making a point, being like, yeah, we heard you bitching about us, and we are nicer than you. Because
Yeah.
she came over and she was like, oh my god, hey girls. And she was like, I just wanted to say that I absolutely love your bikini. You look so good. And she did, like, a... like click thing when she
Yeah.
said it. Like,
Yeah, see, I just think with the way that they're acting, like their confidence and stuff, I feel like they're just the type of people to do that. Just
Yeah.
to, you know, just go up to random people and talk and just say shit like that.
yeah. She did seem like friendly. She was very
Yeah.
like when she was asking us questions, but like there was no time to answer because she was like blah, 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 the whole time.
Yeah, right.
But Laura thought she was there to flirt with me because she complimented my bikini
Yeah,
and
maybe,
not hers.
maybe.
So.
Oh yeah, I mean, there were 3 of them together.
Oh, 3 women! Oh, call the church elders. We must alert them.
Okay, they came out wrong. Like, I was trying to say something else, and then I don't really
I
like.
think what happened is at one point in the water, 3 of them were all like hugging. This is how you know they were like immature compared to us, and we could never be friends with them. Because 3 of them were like standing around together, and then the guy who's with them was like, "Oh, lesbians! Look at the lesbians!"
Yeah, right. That's what.
And we kind of gave him a dirty look because for me, I was like, what are you implying by like making that joke? I don't
Well,
know.
maybe they are lesbians. Maybe he was implying, hey, couple of lesbians here.
Yeah.
What? Do you guys have a problem with this? Huh?
I don't know.
21st century.
I definitely thought he was making a joke out of it, being exactly what you just said, being like, oh, a woman can't be close. How gay. But yeah, and then later on we went to get like...
I don't think it was that. I think he was just trying to get them to hook up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. So that was like the type of personality that they were. Like,
Yeah.
I can never imagine if like me and the 2 girls we were with were standing close together talking. If Sonia walked up and was like, oh, look at these lesbians, we'd be like, excuse me? Get out of here. But yeah, we went to get food afterwards, and then it was really awkward because we were like sitting by the window and they walked past and they stood outside the restaurant we were in for about like 20 minutes. And I made eye contact with them a couple of times. And I think that maybe they just wanted to make friends. Like, honestly, I think they were like, oh, hey, other fellow foreigners who speak English.
Yeah.
Let's expand our friend circle. But we were too awkward, so we just like stayed in the restaurant and eventually they left after like I made
Yeah.
eye contact a few times.
Nah, I don't think it was that, to be honest. I think they were just looking for food. And, like, you know, we were trying to find food as well. That's all the restaurants are in that area, and Indian food is kind of normal food that everyone has.
I don't know. I don't know,
yeah.
because, you know, they came and spoke to us at the beach. You weren't there when they were talking to us. But, yeah.
I was standing around. I had to wash my feet because I stood in piss in the bathrooms. I was like,
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, those bathrooms were a very low standard for Japanese bathrooms.
Yeah. You know what, like, whenever I see, like, a long drop in a Actually, is a long drop the same as a, like, if it's one that you have to squat, is it always a long drop?
No, I think this is like literally just a squat toilet.
Oh, okay, right. So a squat toilet and a long drop isn't necessarily the same thing.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because you can have a long drop that you sit on.
Can you?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, so the squat ones, like, what generation is this from, you know? Are these all old-ass toilets that they haven't updated? Like, I can't imagine that they're still making those toilets nowadays, you know? Even, like, in Japan, like...
Yeah, but I mean, maybe
they have found the toilet. Then again, they use chopsticks here, and it's like, you know, you've seen the fork.
Man,
you know?
what a westernized view on the world. But yeah, I think that the squat toilets are definitely gonna eventually become obsolete, I imagine, because like, not even just because there's Western toilets, but because Japanese Western toilets are like next level, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've got the best toilets in the world, and then there's still like these freaking squat ones around here. Like, unless maybe the squat ones are like advanced as well. You know, do we know that?
No, I don't think so.
Do they have bidet squats?
The what?
Bidet.
I thought you said the gay, and I was like,
No.
yeah. Yeah, every time I've seen like a squat toilet in a public place, it's just surrounded by pee. So like, do Japanese people even know how to use a squat toilet?
Yeah.
Or is it just foreigners peeing everywhere and not knowing how to use it?
Well, yeah, and especially in beach ones, you know, there's no rules.
You don't just pee on the floor, there's that rule.
You know?
But yeah,
there's water everywhere anyway.
So that was kind of gross. Like, I didn't use those ones because I was like, heck no, I've heard how nasty they are. But the other thing that happened at the beach was, at the very end, I was like, okay, before we go, I want to get at least one picture of me in the water with friends so I can prove to social media that I have friends and I do stuff. And we were like doing that, like one picture, and I got stung by a jellyfish. So
yeah, it must have been a baby jellyfish.
yeah, at first it was on my knee, and I felt it happening because it felt like strings, like something like long, rather than like one single bug kind of thing bumping into me. And it like got me on my knee and like my inner thigh and a little bit on my wrist. And at first it looked like jellyfish stings, like it was like like a big rash. And it didn't hurt that bad, but it did sting. Like, it stung a lot, but not bad enough for me to be like super upset about it. And my friend thought that maybe what happened is some seaweed wrapped around me, and that apparently there's like seaweed fleas, and she thinks that maybe I'm allergic to them, and that's what it was. But then like another friend said that he's been stung by a jellyfish and it looked exactly like what mine was, so maybe it was just a different type of jellyfish. Because once the like rash or whatever stopped swelling and went down, it was just like a whole lot of little like bite looking things, like little like itchy bites. Yeah,
because we had been warned about jellyfish in the sea here, so we were kind of thinking like, oh fuck, we hope there's no jellyfish, and luckily we avoided them until right at the end when the little baby one got you.
And you know, if this is the start of jellyfish season, maybe it was just baby ones.
Yeah, maybe.
Because yeah, it definitely felt like, and it didn't feel like a big chunk of seaweed wrapping around me. It felt like little, like what I imagine a jellyfish's like little tentacly things would feel like. What are those even called? Because they're not tentacles. Are they?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Like stingers?
Strings?
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, so that kind of sucked because I was like, damn it, if only I had not been doing it for the gram, I wouldn't have gotten stung by a jellyfish.
Yeah, honestly.
Because we would have been out of the water. So that was a cool adventure.
Yeah, nice. Next time I want to go... So that one was in
Kanagawa.
Next time I want to go to Chiba. Because apparently the beaches there are a lot nicer, but it's a lot further away. So it'll probably take maybe like 2 hours to get there. That made me want to go more in the summertime. Like, we should have gone earlier.
Maybe we should, like... Okay. I know some people, even though it's very close to Tokyo, some people just go do, like, overnight trips in Chiba. So maybe we should go there, go to Disneyland again, and also visit the beach. Yeah, make a whole thing out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, that's kind of it for this episode. Thank you for listening, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at T in Tokyo.
Did you forget what we called for a second there?
Yeah, and also on Instagram at T_in_Tokyo. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.